This is the same man who said it was okay if women are sexually assaulted. Why are we even still entertaining him? He's been a weirdo from the start. It's about time people stop putting him on some sort of high moral pedestal. I've watched the last stream of Hasan in regards to the Blake Lively situation and his mention of the resurgence of the Amber Heard trial. So you don't have to. Disappointment is an understatement. Did he give a wrong take here or something? Or I want to start by saying I followed Hasan for a year and appreciated his Gaza Gaza coverage, but I'm disappointed he refuses to educate himself on this one particular issue, repeating tired talking points. I'm not a hater, just think his stance here is poorly informed.
That took PR group that Justin Baldoni hired to go against Blake Lively to change social media opinions.
I don't know anything about Blake Lively or what this is, but
against Blake Lively in the It Ends With Us PR battle that took place. Okay, that same PR company has also worked alongside Johnny Depp in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp saga. This is why a lot of people were like coming in here for the past couple of days and talking about how are you gonna do apologies or some shit, because they just completely have misunderstood my position on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard saga, which is fine. PR group, okay,
I don't know anything about this. First thing I noticed, he continues to point multiple times at Blake Lively as an out-of-touch weirdo and as a Hollywood star, and therefore she has done bad things herself, and she is also not clean, bringing up her choice for the marketing campaign of the It Ends With Us.
I think it's an interesting story. Does the fact that Blake Lively is unbelievably out of touch affect your perspective here at all? I'm struggling. No, it's once again another Hollywood story. So obviously, given that it's a Hollywood story, there are no clear good guys and clear bad guys, okay? Most of the parties involved are bad to varying degrees. Let's take a look. I think it's...
Wait, why does Hasan hate Hollywood? That sounds retarded. That was a weird, stupid take, but okay. But or whatever. Campaign of the It Ends With Us movie, which I might have agreed with in different circumstances. In this specific case, there's no point in bringing that up other than to victimize, deflect, or shift the blame. Sure, they should have addressed the criticism and listened to domestic violence survivors on the matter.
In the process, adult woman who is like 40 plus years old is actually simply a helpless, hapless fool and is going along with the previously agreed marketing plan, and that she has no fucking say in the process. You will not be able to convince me that Blake Lively is completely blameless in this process because of the manipulative tactics utilized by Justin Baldoni in this smear campaign. Do you understand? She's 37. My bad. Okay. Yeah. As a 37-year-old and a producer on the film, I think you are discounting the amount of feedback that she has. And it's always like weirdly infantilizing.
She's 37, by the way. Wait, really? What is this obsession of his with calling people 40-something? Why does he do? What is this weird obsession? Did somebody use this as an insult against him about his age, and now he's like insecure, and this is like his projection, or?
As adult woman who is like 40 plus years old.
Blake, is this Blake Lively? Blake Lively age. 37. Why would you say this? He is cripplingly afraid of hitting 40? Okay. It's weird. But what's missing, but that's missing the bigger picture. The reality is Baldoni. Wait, is this a real name, or is this person making fun of somebody? The reality is Baldoni knew there were real, literal sexual assault allegations against him that other people were aware of, and was anticipating to come out and preemptively orchestrated a calculated smear campaign to attack first, which was anything but organic. Even if that criticism might have organically come to life, it wouldn't have escalated to this degree of public shaming if Baldoni hadn't intentionally initiated and fielded himself. And equating the two parties is insanely misogynistic to me. Continuously bringing that up only serves to fabricate consent for the treatment Blake Lively has been subjected to. It's ironic, as he seems to grasp these nuances on other global issues in other situations, but when it comes to women, he apparently fails to realize them.
Being a bunch of stuff that's like that existed in the ether about Blake Lively being an out-of-touch person, and they greatly amplified that to a bunch of stuff that's like that existed in the ether about Blake Lively being an out-of-touch person, and they greatly amplified that.
Okay. He's fixated on how social media, especially Reddit, amplified this, likely because it's what he relates to, given his own experience with PR smear campaigns. He grants himself grace, but denies it to women, constantly bringing up their flaws of being in the Hollywood industry. Oh, by the way, hot take. I think people like Hasan, I think a lot of these guys, I think they are misogynistic. And I think it comes out. They have the right, like, woke talking points, but I do think they view women as lesser beings, okay? He's fixated on how social media, especially Reddit, amplified this, likely because it's what he relates to, given his own experience with PR smear campaigns. He grants himself grace, but denies it to women, constantly. Okay. When discussing the Amber Heard trial, he keeps calling it mutual abuse, a term we've already established is discredited by professionals in the field. It isn't a recognized concept. There's retaliation, self-defense when cornered, but not mutual abuse as he frames it. Okay.
The PR campaign made a situation where normally you would look at abuse.
When somebody says that it's been discredited by professionals in the field, what does that mean? I fully believe that relationships can be mutually abusive. I also believe, though, that there are some people that wield the term mutual abuse to crazy make or discredit the other side. So, for instance, if one party's being abused over and over again, and then they retaliate and they say, oh, well, this is mutually abusive now, that's bullshit. I would agree with that. But is this saying that, like, do professionals believe that there's literally no such thing as a mutually abusive relationship? What is this source for that? Is there like an article that came out, or is this like a study or a concept that's being introduced, or what?
The PR campaign made a situation where normally you would look at abuse, even like mutual abuse, which a lot of people would get triggered for me even saying that. In normal circumstances, the party that is physically more powerful is supposed to automatically be seen as the villain. That was a first, I think, where the party that is physically capable of overpowering their partner was seen as like the pure victim. And that, I think, played a tremendous role. Like the PR campaign played a tremendous role in making it seem like Amber Heard was the abusive bad person in the situation, contrary to how people would tackle an issue like that normally.
Okay. It's interesting that he believes his opinion is so valuable and truthful because he's been right on topics he knows well. He assumes he must be correct here too, claiming people will eventually conclude that both parties were at fault, offering the most basic, superficial analysis.
Yeah, have you changed your perspective on Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp? No, I think that my attitude on Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp was always that I don't like either of these people. I think that it's Hollywood assholes in general. But people get so fucking mad when I say
Hollywood
this.
Take.
And I think,
like, you understand, you're basically a Hollywood asshole. Like, you work in media. Like, you're an influencer. You're talent. You're like, what is this weird distinction between people in Hollywood? I don't understand where this comes from.
Assholes in general. But people get so fucking mad when I say this, and I think more people will inevitably arrive at this conclusion. The Meninists get mad because Johnny Depp is a pure soul who was a perfect victim. And then the Radfems get mad because they're like, you're not unconditionally offering support to Amber Heard. But like I said,
yeah, true. He literally lives in Hollywood. True.
Yeah,
my position on this is pretty both sidesy, but that's just because I don't know.
Have you changed your perspective?
I don't know the details of the case. I've heard bad things about both of them, but I don't know all about this. In general, I feel like when people both have like somewhat basically, when both people have agency and it's super abusive, I feel like those are usually mutually abusive situations, but I don't know the details of any of it. I don't follow any of it. People have moved past this because it's such a ridiculous stance. Many DV specialists have repeatedly supported the position that she's the victim, I guess, in this situation that acted as self-defense, publishing deep, thorough psychological analysis, signing open letters in her defense. He provides no evidence of Amber being the bad person he claims, beyond her being in Hollywood. His old streams show him being anti-Amber, calling her names and falsely claiming she nearly severed Johnny Depp's finger, something debunked by forensic evidence.
But then there is this mass smear campaign against Amber Heard, and the public sentiment is dramatically shifted in favor of Johnny Depp, who, is a horrible person. So it was crazy how like black and white that situation was presented to the public. And I think that it was, once again, a targeted, deliberate, concerted effort to vilify Amber Heard, or even use like some of the instances where like Amber Heard wasn't exactly a great person either. Right. So the more you have like an imperfect victim, the easier it is to vilify the person. And I think it's and basically that's what happened with the bro. His finger got almost cut off by Amber. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, have you changed? But then,
Well, did he actually agree with that, or was he about to say something different? I'm guessing she wouldn't disingenuously clip that so much, right? But he doesn't question at all how much of these opinions he holds is simply the result of a smear campaign and not actually the truth. All the things he brought up have been debunked. In fact, Amber has been pretty progressive in support of multiple causes than others. It's clear to me that he has not read past the very beginning of the trial, especially when the appeal and the unsealed documents became public. Otherwise, he'd realize how wrong he's been all along. He also criticizes those who challenge his opinion by equating feminist voices with incels, which is absurd for a man on the left. How do you compare people on your side to literal Nazis? Damn, this woman is super left. Incels are literal Nazis? He even called them swerfs, a label irrelevant to the discussion.
like, right-wing heads say that about me probably, when in fact most of the rad femmes online despise me and think I'm like the worst man, the worst version of misogynistic men, because I'll sometimes say things like, well, I don't really know about Blake Lively, you know? It seems like she is a little out of touch. And then people will get very mad about that. They'll be like, oh, dude, you're a piece of shit. Many of those rad femmes are also swerfs in general. Sex work, exclusionary, radical, feminine.
This makes me think, oh, he did the thing. Isn't he the guy who, oh my God, I think, didn't he do that to Nicholas Diorio right after listening to Nick say that Hasan does this? Does anybody remember what I'm talking about? This makes me think he brought it up just to demonize radical feminists, which is baffling because they don't hate sex workers. They hate sex work and want better for those in it. I'm so over the demonization of radical feminism for opposing the porn industry. Hasan admits he has misogynistic blind spots, which are obvious by now, saying that he works against it when in this situation, he is taking the comfortable misogynist position that align with society. Comes off as tone deaf. Not all criticism is hateful. He's genuinely wrong here.
Radfem accounts online, they say I'm like the grossest misogynist pig of all time. And I think part of that is because, yeah, of course, as a guy, I do have some misogynistic tendencies every now and then.
What the kind of retarded pander statement is this? What? As a white guy, yeah, sometimes I just, I'm racist every now and then. It happens. It's just an ordinary part of, the day-to-day experience of being white. How can you not hate people every now and then, right? Look at all the extra vocab they have access to.
Some misogynistic tendencies every now and then. And I actively try to work against it to the best of my ability. But, sometimes I up and say shit. But I don't know. I still find it. They just dropped the whole you went to a brothel and that's the only thing they run with that someone sticks. Yeah. Well, that too.
Many, like Meduson, covered this case extensively, and you could consult them to correct your stance. Since no one is invested in redeeming Amber Heard, no thorough investigation is happening. But if you care about the truth, don't wait for it to become trendy. Seek it yourself. And then always a GoFundMe to cap it off.